friends, welcome back to my channel, Patronosaurus Reads. I'm Katie, aka Patronosaurus, and I read. Today I have the end of the year book tag, which was created by Ariel Bissett. I will link her video down below. And this tag is just basically talking about your end of the year reading plans and how you're kind of transitioning into the last couple months of the year. So let's get started. The first question is, are there any books this year that you started reading that you're hoping / needing to finish before the end of the year? So for that, I have Good Omens and Priory of the Orange Tree. So if you saw my where I've been reading update, currently reading blah 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 video, which if you haven't seen it and you're interested in kind of my general life goings on, I'll link that down below. I was reading this well over a month ago, both of these books. Priory of the Orange Tree, I don't feel that bad that I haven't made a lot of progress, but Good Omens, I'm like, come on, man. But I started reading these when I was still feeling really slumpy, kind of in August and September, and I just haven't finished them. Like, I feel like the slump is still attached to these books. But I really, really want to finish both of them. I don't feel too terribly concerned about Good Omens. Like, by the time this video goes up, I might already be done with this. But Priory of the Orange Tree is a different story. I haven't picked it up in like 2 weeks. But I really want to finish it before the end of the year. Today is, when I'm filming, this is November 2nd, so I do still have basically 2 full months to read this book. I feel like I can do it. It's just like, will I force myself to do it, you know? That's the question. The next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you to the end of the year? And honestly, I feel like autumn didn't really happen here. That crisp, cool, 60-degree weather, like that happened for maybe a week, and now it's already gone. We're already in winter, I feel like. But that book is The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab. This was, I believe, her debut novel. And once she started picking up popularity with her other books, like the Villain series, and especially the Shades of Magic series, then people were like reading her backlist titles like this, and it was getting more and more popular. So this is actually a repackage, and it's really pretty, and I feel like it's very fall/wintry, which is strike me as being very like winter appropriate. So I feel like this will be good for the coming seasons. The third question is there still a book you're highly anticipating? And before I finished reading The Wicked King this week, I would have said, no, not really. But that cliffhanger, though, made me super anticipate The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, the final book in the Folk of the Air trilogy. Those books are really good. I don't know what else to say besides The Cool Prince and The Wicked King being really good. And when I finished it, I thought The Queen of Nothing was coming out on November 5th, like every other book. Like, that is the big release date in November. Like, so many books are coming out on that day. But it's actually not coming out until the 19th, which is in the middle of the Buzzword Readathon, so I can't read it because it doesn't have a number in the title. So I'm like in pain, and I don't know how people who read The Wicked King, like when it first came out, I don't know how they're coping. I don't know how they did it. I have like 3 weeks to wait from when I finished The Wicked King between that and The Queen of Nothing, and I waited for like a whole ass year. Those people are strong, and I can't believe they have handled themselves with such grace and poise, because I could not have. The next question is, are there 3 books that you want to read before the end of the year? So besides the ones that I've already started and need to finish, the ones that I need to start and finish are The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I basically don't know what this book is about. I just know it's about a circus, and it's like kind of a fantasy, magical realism-y type of thing. I feel like this is one of those books that you shouldn't really know anything about when you go into it, so I'm not. I just know that it's a ton of people's absolute favorite, so I really want to read it. Plus, it's the group read for one of my Goodreads groups, so I do want to participate with that group and like hang out with them. So I actually need to start reading this now because it's our group read right now, and I haven't started it yet. It's fine. And of course, the next book I want to read is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I feel like I've talked about this book in basically every video that I've made in the past month, because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna read it, it's my top priority, I'm gonna read it, but I really am. It's on my Buzzwordathon TBR, like I'm going to read it, at least by the end of that readathon if I haven't read it before then. So like this is gonna happen. I need to read this book. And then the last book I want to read before the end of this year is Layer of Dreams by Libba Bray. This is the second book in the Diviner series, which follows a bunch of teenagers in the 1920s that have various supernatural abilities and the bad stuff that comes after them because of it. I know the fourth and final book in this series is coming out early in 2020, I think in January or February. So ideally, I'd like to be caught up so that I have the first 3 books read by the time the 4th book comes out. I don't know if that'll happen, but I want to at least have this book read before the end of this year and start the 3rd book at the beginning of next year. We'll see how that happens. The 5th question is there a book you have yet to read that you think may shock you and make your favorites of the year? So I don't think this book is gonna shock me and be in my, like, how can you predict that something will shock you? This question is confusing to me. But regardless, a book that I think I'm gonna read before the end of this year and it's gonna be in my favorites is Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. Scythe is already in my favorites of the year. I know it's gonna be like, I really don't think anything can push it out of that top slot. I really loved Scythe. And from everything I've heard, Thunderhead just turns everything up. And it makes everything even more intense and crazy and wild than it was in Scythe. If you're unfamiliar with the series, it's about kind of a futuristic utopian society in which there is no more natural death. Like you can't really die from anything. Like if you jump off a building, there are nanites in your body that will heal you enough to keep you alive until you go to a hospital and can be taken care of properly. Like there's no sickness, there's no hunger, there's no nothing. Like everything's fine. Everyone is perfect. But in order to keep the population down, there are people called scythes who each kind of have their own way of culling the population so that there aren't too many people for all the resources available on Earth. So the first book was crazy. It was so good. And I really think this second book is gonna be even better. The 3rd book in the series, I think it's called The Toll. That book is one of the ones that I mentioned is coming out on November 5th, just like every other book on the planet. So, I mean, that's in 3 days, so I'm not going to have this book read by then, but I would like to read the rest of the series pretty closely together, so maybe I'll have the whole thing done before the end of the year. Who knows? And the 6th and final question is, have you already started planning your reading for 2020? Yes, I have. I have kind of figured out what I want my Goodreads challenge to be. I know some people don't really care about the Goodreads challenge, and like I don't really care about it, but I like to challenge myself. In the past couple of years, I have set it at something that I feel is very comfortable and easy for me, and I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna set myself a real challenge, and we will see how it goes. I have a couple of tentatively planned secret TBRs for next year. I think I want to kind of focus on end of 2019 videos and statistics and everything like that before I make a definitive plan for those, but I do have a couple of ideas in the works that I think is gonna be really fun and challenge me in my video making and editing capabilities, because I basically have 0 skills, as I'm sure you can tell if you have watched my channel for any length of time. But I want to try to get better, and I think part of that will be doing videos that are a little bit out of my comfort zone as well, not just sitting in front of my bookshelf and talking to you. That's some general plans, and I'm gonna make a 2020 reading goals video that will come out probably at the beginning of January, so then you can see that as well. So that'll be fun. All right, that's it. That's the end of the year book tag. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you have any opinions on any of these books, ones that you think I should bump up to my super priority TBR, let me know. Feel free to follow me on any of my social media. That will be linked down below. Let's be friends. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. That's what YouTubers say. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.